Hey everyone, it is LSID932 on YouTube. Thank you for joining me. I was going to stick to just the episodes for most of the Love is Blind, not get into too much stuff behind the scenes, but sometimes there are seasons that just compel you to do so. So before I get into it, please like the video, share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below because we are going to get into some of the things, not too deep because there are other channels that go deep. Some of the things with Love is Blind, DC, Aftermath, how can I put it, final thoughts. Let me know what you think. So I'm wearing this because it's like we keep getting tossed different things. It gets splattered all over the internet and we are learning more and more about these cast members. So, Aftermath, final thoughts, let's talk about it. Hannah and Nick. Yes, there are red flags with Nick, but they're not as startling as Hannah's, since Hannah came wearing red. Hannah's attitude is still one that needs, some work, a lot of work. There's a one thing with being direct, and there's one thing with being cruel and unkind. And at the reunion, she did say cruel. Marissa and Ramses, both of them need some work. I don't know who has more heavy lifting, but a therapist could certainly help them with that. Ramses, for all intents and purposes, have done a couple interviews and is basically disappeared. As far as I have seen, he does a few. He does not talk about Marissa in a negative manner at all. Marissa seems to be coming around. She's in a new relationship. We congratulate her. But the overlap, the timing, yeah, it's screaming, I need to have someone before the reunion so I could throw it in your face. That's just my opinion. Steven and Monica. Monica has a whole bunch to say about all the other castmates. And not so much about Steven. And that concerns me. I guess, he sent her the Venmo immediately. He kind of like went off into the sunset. So she's trying not to push things further. I don't know. Well, all I can say is Steven is trying to tell folks he's carried on with his life. He's having a full life. And I don't know, Steven. It's kind of screaming, I still want attention, but I want you to think of me as something other than Steven from Love is Blind DC. That's all it's saying. Brittany. Apparently, recently it has come out that Brittany may have been in a relationship this whole time that she put on pause so she could go on the show to maybe further her career to get exposure. Please stay tuned for more on that on the YouTube streets, in the social media streets, because that information started pouring out this very week. So all I know is the headline that Brittany hands ain't all the way clean on this one. She may be Trevor from the prior season who put a relationship on pause. I don't know who let it out of the bag, but it had to be the other party. That's all I'm saying. Possibly the other party. Tim and Alex. It seems like Alex is going interview after interview after interview talking about Tim. Of course, that was her fiance. But it's the rewriting of history for me. It's the negating certain things for me. While Tim is on social media airing out all the dirty laundry. Every last piece of laundry he's airing out. And Tim, that does not look good for a future partner. If you're mad at me, you're going to let all my business out. You're going to put all my text messages out. You're going to put all my photos out. It's a little unhinged. Sometimes let people think of you as the villain rather than proving to them you have villainous behavior or tendencies. So Tim, I would say pump the brakes on social media. You don't need to prove anything to anyone, but you need to prove to us that you know how to behave behind the scenes. Alex, don't negate the fact that there are red flags that you exhibited through this relationship. You both have stuff to work on. It was very glaring what Tim had to work on. And I think many people, because of that, they were blinded by Tim. They missed a lot of your red flags. You are a brilliant designer based on your gown at the reunion. I'm hoping you do get to dress maybe the host and hostess the next seasons, but we shall see from there. But young lady, relationship wise, how you handle Tim, how Tim is handling this afterwards, for both of you, y'all need to sit this one out for a while. Get some help. And then maybe the next relationship, maybe not the right one, but it certainly is practice for the next and maybe your last relationship, your forever relationship. Where do we go next? For this one, for Tyler and Ashley, I'm not going to go too far into it. If you go to channels, Jessie Woo's channel, Storytime with Rikkii, Little Black Book 91, Another Round JS, you will see a lot of the information, documentation of what has transpired since the episodes. For those of you who are not around the internet streets, let me summarize. On the show, Tyler told Ashley that he donated so a friend can have children. The friend, who we learn now is Bri, is a mother of 3 children. She was married to Deshaun, and the way it is being told, how can I say it, through court records, through Bri, Deshaun, and other interested party like grandparents, the way it's being told to us is that, yes, the first child was, part of helping a same-sex couple have children. When they separated or divorced, going through that, Tyler stepped up to help the mother of the child keep custody. So, of course, we can understand, usually if you look at court cases, biological parents would have a stronger case. So Bri's ex-wife says that she bowed out and allowed the divorce, allowed not to, financially have a burden of lawyers going back and forth in the court. So we understand that. At least I understand that. Some people said they will fight for their child, and I understand that. But when you're fighting against biological parents, that is going to be an uphill battle. So I do not judge her for her decision. I totally understand it. So during the course of the divorce, Bri has twins. Twins. Oh, beautiful. Children are beautiful. And the twins, Bri says, were conceived naturally. Tyler was there, she says, and she provides photos. If you go to any of those channels, especially Jessie Woo and Storytime with Rikkii, you will see that he was there for the birth or close to it. He signed the birth certificate, and they, up until the day before he left for Loveisblind, Bri and the kids were very supportive of him finding a wife, finding love. Now, it seems that Tyler has distanced himself with the help of his wife, Ashley. They did say I do. They did get married, if you saw my recap. So now it's a sense of the children are donor children. The children are, in his recent interviews with Dear Future Wifey, all the children were donor children, not just the eldest child. And I think what is hurtful for many of us is that he was a father based on the evidence we've been shown, with him going to games, with him being in pictures, which he scrubbed his social media a little bit beforehand of all pictures with him and the kids and activities and stuff. It seems like he is kind of throwing the baby out with the bathwater. It seems like now they are donor children. Now I don't want to be around them. Now I don't wish to do this. But we saw that Bri, the mother of the children, she came out after he started calling her children donor children. She has been in response to everything. And if you look at her responses, it is, I'm trying to protect my children. I don't wish for my children to be seen as such out in social media. They were conceived in love, and, how can I say this? They had an involved father, and he is no longer an involved father. In his recent and only interview, he's gone on one morning show in local DC, but his recent interview with Dear Future Wifey, he makes it seem like the first one was a donor consciously, and the twins, he makes it seem as though the ladies had his donation on ice and thought it out and conceived the twins. Now, you can't just put, how can I say, donations on ice and just decide to have it. And if that is the case, Tyler, if you are of the belief that it was a, donation on ice that you weren't aware of, then you can go to the courts. But you see, court records show that you are on child support, that you have not paid for the past year. Court records show 7 evictions. Court records show you were living with Bri at the same address. You said in an interview that you saw the kids 3-4 times a week. That is an involved father, sir. So again, the story of it all doesn't add up. It has a few holes in it. Now, we don't know any of these people, any of the Love is Blind cast. We don't know them personally. I'm of a mind, I prefer to look at court records and look at extenuating circumstances, but court records kind of say a lot, especially birth records with original signatures. So if you, as you say, you have no connection with the children at the time, you could have signed away your parental rights. That could have been an option. So while we understand assisting a family, there's a reason why there are donation contracts. There's no reason you cannot help a friend, but you also need to protect yourself and your future children, because these children biologically are yours, if we are to believe these documents. So while you're like, you can't, kind of go on and live your life and enjoy your marriage right now with your wife, I'm thinking it's a deeper problem. I'm thinking that while most married couples for Love is Blind is celebrated, Tyler and Ashley are not the celebrated couple. There's so much feedback that is not always positive about this couple. And I think this has affected endorsement deals. I'm thinking this has affected brand deals. I'm thinking this has affected them from being the darling of the franchise the way Brett and Tiffany are. The way it seems like Taylor and Garrett are going to be. The way Lauren and Cameron are. Because there's so much baggage, so much paint. There's so much stuff in the background that it's hard to completely root for Tyler and Ashley and their marriage when we know that is hurting children on the side. Yes, it does say cleave to your wife. But again, what is that? Where does that leave the children? And in everything, I understand why there's negative feedback for them. Because no one wants to see children abandoned. No one wants to see children left behind. And nobody wants to see a father move on to a wife and leave his children behind, no matter how those children are conceived, no matter when those children are conceived. But we have to acknowledge too that there are parents, there are mothers who may not feel the motherly instinct when a child is born. Some sign away their rights and put children up for adoption, or some sign away their rights to their father. But in this instance, that's not what happened. And in this instance, while the adults wish to ride off into the sunset in their happy marriage, the children can look back on this. The children can see this. And the children, we hope, will grow up into being well-rounded adults. But we know this can hurt. And we know that something in a character, in that you can distance yourself from children that you were close to, is something that's strange for many of us to comprehend. But I wish everyone who is a part of this season well. I wish them much success. I wish them success in their futures. We can see things. I don't plan on talking more unless I'm on a panel. I don't plan on, sharing more about this unless it's something groundbreaking on my channel. But I will put in the description the channels you can go to continue to follow this. As I said before, Jessie Woo, Storytime with Rikkii, she broke the story. Little Black Book 91, ANOTHERROUNDJS. And if you just type in Loveisblind, Tyler, Ashley, or any of the cast, you will find more and more. And more recently, I just found Loveisblind's reviews as well. He has some very, very strong comments about this that I do agree with. But I thank you so much for joining me for this season of Loveisblind DC. I'm hoping no other Loveisblind requires an aftermath video. I'm hoping no other season requires a final thoughts video other than a little few minutes at the end of a regular video. But I felt compelled, and a friend told me, hey, you'll do a disservice if you don't speak on it. But I do hope that you enjoyed the season. We certainly will be enjoying other seasons. And please look around my channel. There are Loveisblind from international locations that I'm covering. So please like the video, share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. And I thank you again for joining me, and let us get on to being kind to ourselves and to each other. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.